Hi, my name is Cate, and my pronouns are he, him, his. I'm originally from Columbia, South Carolina. Small. It was Columbia is the capital of South Carolina, so it is a city by South Carolina standards, but now that I've been to actual cities, it's not. It's basically a medium-sized town. So growing up, I think a big impression that I have, at least from school and things like that, is this sort of implicit like self-selecting segregation almost, where like I went to a public school, high school, and it drew from a large area, so there were people from all walks of life there. But you didn't really meet people outside of your bubble, per se. And that is probably a metaphor for growing up in South Carolina as a whole. So I'm lucky enough that I kind of stumbled into it at a young age. My parents got a computer when I was little, and as a kid I would play little online games and stuff like that. When I was in middle school, my good friend of mine found this thing called Scratch, where it was aimed at middle schoolers and you can make video games with it. And I just sort of fell in love with it. And one thing led to another, but that was my first step, I would say. So Scratch was my introduction to code, per se. The idea as a middle schooler, wait, I can make games? Of course, I had no idea I was really coding. I was just kind of stumbling through it. And I followed the steps. I was like, I want to make games, but it was very limited. It was within this program as it is. And I decided I wanted to make more games. I wanted to learn more. So I did some Googling, and I went down some really weird rabbit trails because I Googled all the wrong things because I didn't know what I was doing. But I eventually found my way. I got a copy of Macromedia Flash 8 or something like that, and a book on how to program an ActionScript, and that was when I first started coding, per se. And for a solid couple years, I was just fumbling around. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no mentorship or anything. I went down like a 6-month-long rabbit hole where I was learning this language called Liberty Basic, because I Googled free basic programming language, and Liberty Basic is like a free, open source, free as in freedom version of BASIC from the 80s. And I didn't know that BASIC was the name of a programming language. I didn't know that free had significance in the software community. Eventually, when I was in 9th grade, a friend of mine found this group called BDPA. And BDPA stands for Black Data Processing Associates. And their goal is to help minorities get educated in IT and secure jobs, and basically aiming to address the massive disparity in IT. And they had a high school program, and we joined. Now, as you may have noticed, I am not black. It's in the name, and I'm not it. And it's minorities in general, but I'm not a minority either. But they didn't discriminate, and they welcomed us, and that was, I think, the first major turning point in my career, was getting access to mentorship and being able to work with these people in the industry and ask them questions and learn all these things. And I think I can point to that as the main inflection point, where I went from messing with computers to, oh wait, this is something I might be interested in as a career, and I have a huge head start now because I happened to stumble into this. That program was very life-changing, not just in terms of my own career, but also in terms of my outlook. So I did this program throughout all of high school, and at first I didn't really understand the mission. In terms of, there's this majority, the majority of people in IT are white, and that doesn't line up with the demographics. But I mean, if they can apply, right? What's the problem? I didn't really understand the nature of the disparity that we have. And being part of this program and seeing and learning about how it's really sort of a supply side issue, and meeting the friends that I made there really opened my eyes, I think. Like I mentioned, Columbia is, despite being a capital, very much kind of a small town, and I don't think that I would have gained that perspective without being part of this program. 100%. From the moment that once I got out of college, I knew, like, yes, I'm gonna go work and stuff. I'm gonna make my money, but I immediately started looking for actually a BDPA chapter in San Francisco, and there isn't. But some sort of means for me to give back, because I got so much out of the program, and I want to contribute back. And to say nothing of the fact that I think that, especially now that I'm in the Bay Area, and let me collect I'm not sure how to phrase this, but as I have gotten older, relatively speaking, at least compared to high school, like I have gotten more and more aware of the actual challenges that a lot of people face when trying to pursue a career in technology. And as someone who is in a position where I have the resources to help, and I would not be in this position were it not for these other programs that were able to help me out. I want to pay it forward, or pay it backward. I want to do my part. Because they were willing to help me. I heard about Emergent Works through my girlfriend, actually. So she was volunteering for Emergent Works for a little bit with some design stuff, Cate. Before Emergent Works, I was doing, so my company has like a mentorship program as well with similar goals, but not specifically focused on people that have been incarcerated. And Emergent Works' mission really resonates with me, and I wanted to do something that was a little bit more direct mentorship, I guess, a little bit more relationship building, Yeah, so my mentee is Dino. Dino is, he's awesome. How much do you want to know?
We love Dino, so.
Yeah, so mentoring Dino has just been an absolute pleasure. It's really inspiring to get to see the drive that he has and just the desire to learn and improve and the work that he puts in. It has been so great to mentor him because there's very little that I need to do as a mentor in terms of planning, because he is always asking the perfect question that leads to the next thing. And it's great. And seeing the light bulb light up when he learns a new concept or when he understands something, or I'll be leading up to something. He's like, okay, well, why is it this way, and why not this other way? And it's that is a fantastic question. Let me ramble at you for a little bit. Yeah, so resources, easy. I think that having resources, specifically time and access to technology. And I think what Emergent Works is doing by providing laptops and things like that, that is a massive first step. And the other one is time and money, those being pretty much the same thing in my book. Coming out from prison, and you need to have money, right? And I'm sure that it's difficult to find a job as is, but then also finding the time to work on these programs and work on the projects and stuff. It's kind of inspiring, honestly. What do I want to see? I want to see Emergent Works producing people coming into the workforce. I think that is important, not just because, that means, mission accomplished, right? That's what Emergent Works is aiming for. And obviously, maybe former mentees don't go into software careers specifically, but some other adjacent field, or some career where they are making money and are happy with where they are. And I'm sure that the skills that they learn, even if it's not a software job exactly, like, are still preparing them for that, you know? And that ties into where I want to see Emergent Works in 5 years. I believe that it is very much a compounding factor. Like, the people that we are helping now are our future mentors. And, you know, if we have a cohort of, you know, 10 people 1 year, you know, come back in a few years and, you know, those people mentored other people who are now mentoring other people, you know, and I would love to see this just sort of blow up. That's what I want to see. Biggest thing I've learned so far as a mentor. That's a hard one because I feel like I've learned a lot. And I think a lot of what I learned is not like one big lesson, just a lot of really small lessons. And it's the lessons that you learn are every day, seeing the drive that people have and how hard Dino is working, how hard the other mentors or mentees are working. I feel like this is something that I knew before, but it's different getting to see it firsthand, and that is, you know, just because you've been imprisoned at some point, rightfully or not, like, does not mean that that doesn't define who you are, you know? What defines who you are is what you're willing to do to pull yourself up, like, out of wherever situation you may be, you know? And it's really inspiring to get to see that and see everyone doing that. Expand your networks. I think that so much of the pervasive inequality that we have is because everyone only, like, hires people they know. And when, you know, you're some guy that's lived in the Bay Area your whole life and all you know is other, like, white guys in the Bay Area, like, you're just missing out, you know? Expand your horizons, expand your networks, meet people from other perspectives and other walks of life. Oh yes, I stream while I live code, and I love to mentor that way as well. So twitch.tv/gravidddd, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:30 Pacific.
He does this. He does it well. Also, so my name is Perry. I am a former mentor and a proud member of the Emergent Works family.
My name is Perry. I am a former mentor and a proud member of the Emergent Works family. And I believe excellence in code can come from anyone.